That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
Y'all know what time it is. Turn up. That's what I said.
Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with your host, Cedric Sanders, giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. The broadcast starts now.
Little upset. Had a lot of technical difficulties, but it's all good. That's why I said the podcast we live, and tonight I'm doing an interview. I'm doing a real kind of like impromptu interview in a sense. And I've been having them waiting for a minute because my whole, situation over here was situating. So without further ado, my guest this evening, I don't want to call him my best friend because we kind of danced together in high school, and it was more of like, how black people are. We be in competitions. But furthermore, it's grown into a better relationship because, we've built something that I think is going to revolutionize Kansas City, but also I've been kind of, we've been in each other's lives. You have a relationship with somebody, you have a good, rapport and a good friendship with somebody. You learn to just let them live. That's what a true friendship is. You can't be in everybody's, possession all the time trying to figure out what they're doing. And we kind of did that for 20 years. So life happened, and, I did my time in the military, and now I'm dealing with a whole different animal, being married and having PTSD and anxiety, but we ain't gonna go there yet. We'll have a later conversation about that, unless it comes up tonight. Anyway, without further ado, I'm inviting to the crib, and that's what I said, Vegas and Blink. Blankety Blink. Was good. I'm mad he sound like, one of those old BET executives when they give him the mic at the end of the night. Hey, are we having fun or what? What the hell? You got coke on your nose, sir.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the platform. Thanks for joining us this evening. Appreciate your time.
I'm gonna be honest. This is really Blink's fault.
Wait a minute. What happened?
Okay, so I had this conversation, not that we talk behind your back or anything, Blink, but I had a conversation. I had a conversation with Vegas, and it so happened that when I had this conversation with him, it was right after I had saw one of your videos on Facebook. So I told him then, I said, yo, I need to bring you and Blink on my podcast. I like what she was saying, and it's, kind of right down the alley of what I was doing when I was building this brand and building this podcast and having those uncomfortable conversations that we all need to have, but people are just too comfortable not having them. And we need to change that dynamic. So that's not the conversation me and Vegas had. The conversation me and Vegas had was, I need to really interview y'all and it be about the strength of relationship, or how strong, you're in a relationship with someone. It's like everybody says you love hard, but at the same time, most relationships are just what they are, relationships. It's never just the whole pure aspect of getting to know somebody and building something with that person, in the dynamic of being in a relationship. So that was kind of the real reason why I wanted to bring you on. But Vegas knows me. Shit don't ever go down that way. So it's not going to be just that conversation. I'm going to throw some other stuff in there because that's just me. And I think this is Blink's first real opportunity to actually get to hear Cedric uncouth and uncut other than just a business conversation or what Vegas may have filled your head up with.
It is. It's my first opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good. So, Connie, did you have anything that you wanted to say before I start getting into this? Because you know me, I get started and it's like you think I was on my own TV show, but that's not the problem. That's not the case. So, you got
I don't have anything
As
like
of
I
yet?
said. I just, I thank them for their time and patience during our little technicalities.
our little situations that we had. We had a little situationship going on. I don't know what was the problem, but
Yep.
So the first question I need to ask you guys, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say bold. It's more of me just being an asshole, but I have to ask. Because we're grown up, so we can have a grown up conversation. Why do you even like being around Vegas? Let's be straight up to the point, Blink.
Oh, straight up to the point. That's the only way I
Okay,
roll.
I figured that.
I like being around Vegas because he's authentic. He's himself at all times. Period. There's no pretense about it, as some might believe, but no. He is who he is at all times, and so that's the only. Those are the people I like to be around, and since he's my favorite person, that's my children. I love being around him because he is who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Vegas? What was like the true? I have to not just be the man, but really kind of just, I mean, in this day and age, especially when it comes to relationships, the woman has to accept you for who you are, and everything that comes with you, just as much as you got to accept that woman for how much you are. But I think for a woman, it's a little bit more intense for them when they say that they're giving their all to a man, because statistically speaking, not all men have lived up to that quality of man in most women's eyes. And in this, we all know in this day and age, it's not so much about what you have or what you don't have. It's what is he lying about?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I see this relationship in this interview.
But
Wow.
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. I want to hear your side because I know your side per se, not completely, but I know it. But please,
Yeah.
for the tapings.
For me, it's I like being around her because of the men are visual. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that we are. Until you grow up and then you start looking at other qualities and things like that. We've talked a lot about this subject. If we go back a couple of years, you can remember. I know you remember these conversations that we had. Was more about where I was at that particular time. Being around her has been exciting. It's been an experience. When you get your first whip, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, you done cleaned it up. Your hoopty is your hoopty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You done vacuumed it 4 times. For real. You done washed the car down a gang of times. The tires is, you know what I'm saying? They fresh to death. It's that. I realized that I was with a woman that was completely seasoned, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's that, and that caused me to really just be all in. Being with her has been like doing a research paper. For real. When your stuff gotta be it's in high school when you have to have the teacher yo, this gotta be 3,000 words and it better be on point. Being with her was like, I gotta get this A.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get this A. If I don't get this A, I'm a flip.
Right.
And a A minus is not even acceptable, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Like, to get this A plus. Like, I've had, who don't know the story, but I've had so much experience, and it's like all the experience that I've had in the past, I've been able to take out what I didn't like, put in what I did like, keep some of this, drop some of that, and this is the makeup of it all. Like, she's been my complete package, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I'm not gonna put your business out there. I just, sometimes you see someone going through something, and you're there for them as much as you can be, in whatever capacity you need to be there for them. And then, you kind of step back. And I think the problem that we have as men, and I won't say all of us do this, but there's a select few of us. If we have a close relationship with someone, it's like we want to give them advice, but only our advice, not
Yeah.
advice that a person can really just like kind of sit on and allow it to marinate. And I think I'm always known for telling people that I'm like, let this marinate. I'm gonna say something, but let it marinate. Because I don't want you to think about it or react to it, because our first reaction as men is emotional, but from a different place. A woman's natural reaction is emotional from a very different place.
Right.
So people need to realize that when we react, it's never in response to what someone said. It is how it affected us and how we respond. Anywho, and something I noticed in you guys' relationship, and that's the reason why I wanted to interview you two, was you're unapologetically real about everything that you guys do and how you share each other's, space. And I know you just got, back into the hometown, and it's a different type of, I think it's a different type of Kansas City when you're showing up for something in Kansas City, but not about Kansas City. That makes sense.
Right. Yes.
So how is that being in a relationship? The distance, I know it's lots of phone calls and stuff like that, but how is it, as far as the relationship building, being that you guys have built a great foundation as far as trust and everything else? How is it having that same bond being in two different states?
Yeah. So, honestly, it doesn't feel like we are in two different states. That's how close we are. That's how connected we are. And that's our foundation. So it never feels like we are in two different states. It feels like he's right around the corner all the time. Our communication is dope.
Right.
We talk time. There's a lot of video calls, and a lot of communication. I mean, we talk all the time. We have open communication about any and everything. Nothing is off the table.
Right.
It feels like, oh, we're all these miles apart, and then we make time, to see one another. So, and we also know that we're on a journey, and this distance is temporary. And when you know the distance is temporary, and you're able to keep your eyes on the end goal, then it changes your perspective about the current situation. It no longer is about, the distance between us right now. It's about closing the gap, period. We know exactly where we're going. We know exactly what the end goal is. We know that this distance is temporary. And because we both know that, it doesn't feel like long distance
Right.
at all, ever.
I was going to say something, but I think you kind of summed it up, because I know for me, being in the military, for 20 years, and me and my on again, off again marriages that I have, that we're not going to get into details about, because that's a BET movie. I need to seriously, I think I seriously need to write about all these crazy marriages I've been in, and what I've gained and learned out of it. I mean, it made me who I am today. So I can't be completely, distraught and pissed off. However, ratchet wasn't even a conversation back then. I was doing some ratchet shit. I was the epitome of he's a dog, but he's still a good man.
The balance.
Right. It's like, I'm gonna pay your rent, but I'm going over here tonight. It's like, what?
The balance wasn't the word I was looking for, Vegas. Not even remotely close.
I know Connie has something different.
She knows these stories because to just give you some background with me and Connie. I've known Connie, this is 22 years.
Yep.
I've known her for 22 years. We've only been together since 2017. Never in our wildest dream we was ever thinking about being in a relationship.
No.
We were just great friends. Met her when I was in the military. I was kind of like in my mid-range in the military. I was probably like in 7, 8 years at the time. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have made chief or retired as a chief.
Oh, wow.
I transitioned. That's when my transition happened in my career. So fast forward 2017, I was on the Amazing Race from Ohio to Washington State. Damn, that was an asshole moment.
Over the river and through the woods.
So I was with my ex-wife at the time, and I left because I was underappreciated and I got tired of it. And I had my son, which was 17 at the time, and I was like, he's not growing up in this environment. And I'm tired of this environment. So we packed up whatever we could in my Lincoln Navigator and we drove from Ohio to Washington State. So prior to me going to Washington State, I had called Connie. I said, hey, what is rent looking like? What's the mean? What's the average, so that I can figure something out, because I got to figure out, I'm trying to move back to Washington State, blah, blah, blah. Connie at the time was single. Didn't know that. That was a conversation that I had to have when we was in Washington because for what I knew, she was married to her now ex-husband that I knew and met the kids, knew the kids. So anywho, anytime the Cedric bus pulls in, it is what it is. I ain't coming there for washing dishes and having a couple drinks. I'm coming to lay down the smacketh down. But my mindset then was not about that. It was really, I'm coming to see my best friend that I haven't seen in years.
Right.
But that quickly transitioned to something else because I guess we were adults and we were just like, this ain't about all this. This ain't what this is. This ain't that. If you thought it was that, it's not that. So literally being in a toxic marriage, going through divorce, getting into a relationship, and then going through the cycle of healing, knowing that you're going in this relationship and healing. What does that look like for you guys as far as the healing part? Because I knew it was some healing that needed to happen, but how is that process gone since you guys, kind of gotten together and started, business like just tearing shit up?
For me, I've been on a personal journey of self-improvement and self-awareness, exploring who I am and becoming more self-aware. I have been on that journey. I had already been on that journey since 2015. So I was already, along that journey, and I had already been there. So for me, it was all about discovering really who I am because I was so, for so many years, I was really unhappy with myself. Just being really transparent, I was unhappy with who I was and why I didn't feel good about me. And so back in 2015, I decided I had had enough of my own stuff, honestly. And that's when I went on this self development, personal development journey to really become more self aware of who I am and learn how to love me wholly and completely. And that's exactly what I did. So that's been my journey. And little did I know, had no idea that along this long journey, and I was, and here's the thing is I had to become okay, raising my two sons, as a single parent by myself. I didn't have no men running in and out of my house, none of that. I didn't have that. I literally, even when they were at their dad's house, I would be here by myself. And so it gave me a lot of time to just be here, just me and God. And I developed this really personal relationship with God and learned to love me and fall in love with myself. And I had no idea back then that going through that journey and, all those times of just spending time alone, which a lot of people, a lot of women, and I'm going to put that out there, a lot of women don't like to spend time alone. But I personally said, this is what I'm going to do, no matter how painful, no matter how lonely,
Right.
quote unquote, felt. I was willing to go through that journey because that's how that's how much I didn't like how I felt. I was more willing to go through the pain of feeling the pain of the journey of learning how to love me than the pain of just staying in what felt familiar.
Mm.
Which a lot of people do is they'll stay in a familiar pain rather than go through a new pain of learning of who God really called them, who God has them to be, how God sees them, you know, and really learning how to love themselves. So I went on that long journey, for those many years by myself,
Mm.
just learning to love me, and it was not easy. And that's what a lot of people, a lot of women, I can't speak for a man, but it's been my experience. A lot of men even don't want to go through that uncomfortable period of time where you have to be okay with being uncomfortable to discover who you really are. And I was willing to do that because I dislike the comfort of my former self even more. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Me to this place where I am right now. I would have never seen this coming.
Mm.
I was so happy with who I had developed into. I was so happy with myself. I had truly, authentically, and wholly fallen in love with who I am. As a person, as a mother, as a woman, even with my flaws and all, I had fallen in love with who I was because I knew whose I was. And once I truly understood that, I fell in love with me. So I wasn't looking for anyone. I was completely happy and joyful in the space that I was in. And then here comes this guy. And I wasn't looking for anyone. I was literally like, oh my God, I'm actually happy. I am happy. Like, I don't need a man. Not like I don't need a man,
I'm
but
sitting right here.
Right.
like that. Oh man, it was just like, oh my God, I'm like actually happy without a man. Not like I need a man. I'm okay if one comes along, but I'm actually happy. Just joy with me. So and then here,
I
yeah.
think unbeknownst to you, you manifested him.
He, oh my God, honey.
I'm just, without even knowing y'all's background or anything like that, just listening to the conversation and what you're saying.
Or in like what?
You did. You manifested him because you were at your happiest in your life for yourself and your children, and you said you were at peace with everything that had gone on. You fell in love with you. You had a relationship with God, and God was like, yeah, it's time. Let me drop him right there.
Wow.
That's
That's amazing
yeah.
that you said that. It's
Connie,
almost like
that's
confirmation.
honey, that's extremely on point.
My glass ain't got no water in it.
After after my situation said, in getting through that, I did a lot of stepping back and regroup
Mm-hmm.
and getting ready to start my new life.
Right.
And as I was starting my new life, I was thinking back of all the relationships that I had and what did I not have in all of those relationships. And the one thing that came up to me was a very solid friendship. Like most of my relationships at 49 have been just like you was just saying a moment ago. Like, hey, I'm the Cedric train.
I pull up, it's like,
Yeah, and that's what it was. You know, like some of those people we kind of were friends or whatever, but for the most part, you're talking about some, my sincerity was not there. It was just, yeah, we friends.
You was there for one thing.
but
Yeah.
Beep beep.
but
I'm in and out.
I completely understand what you're saying because mine didn't start until after I left Kansas City when I got in the military. My mentality was like that in Kansas City. I just never acted on it because I felt bad. I was like, no. But then, and I'll be short because I want you to finish. When I got in the military,
The hoe came out.
no, really didn't. It really didn't. What happened? Okay, this is what happened. I had a bad relationship. Girl cheated on me. And I was like, okay, I'm not okay with this. Then I met somebody else, got married to the chick, and she cheated on me twice. So, mind you, I was stationed in Hawaii. I date my daughter's mom. Go on deployment. She gets pregnant. And then my ship decides to decom. So I have to leave Hawaii and go somewhere else to finish my sea tour. And I go to Washington State. When I went to Seattle, that's when they should have wrote a song about the activity I was doing. Because I was just, I had a time card in them streets. I would get off the boat.
He was punching in and punching out.
I was punching in and punching out. I was running them streets. I was like, I ain't from here. Let's go.
Ain't there a song? There's
What?
some hoes
In this house. Hey, I was... Shut up, Connie. I was
Just saying.
literally, it was so bad. And this is not me bragging. Really, it was showing kind of my growth. And I'll go to my growth later. But really, I was so angry that I got cheated on. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I was like, is it me? And I'm like, no, they had been taking advantage of the situation because I'm gone all the time. Mm-hmm. And then I started dating this one chick in Washington and she cheated on me. And that was it. I was like, I'm done being committed. I'm going to do me. If I hurt your feelings, I ain't apologizing. This is how I would talk to these women before I even did anything with them. I'm not trying to be your man. Yeah. I'm not trying to be your little side piece, some dude you call when your boyfriend ain't there. No. Either we doing this or we not. We can do it for a little bit or we not. That's how I rolled. And people was like, why are you like that? I was like, because why should I be all nice and everything else? They ain't gonna do them but cheat on me and take advantage of me.
Yeah.
Eventually, it got old because I was preying on insecure women. I just like, nope. I want a relationship I know I can get out of in 3 years. And guess what? That's my tour length. I can heal this bitch and I'm gone. That was my mentality.
I was just going to say that was the mentality that you had.
I was like, I want somebody insecure because I want to reverse Jerry Springer her ass. Rest in peace, by the way. And heal her. And I'm gone.
Yeah, I can relate. Like after going through all of that and rebuilding myself, I started realizing two things. Like, the first thing I realized is I got another shot. But this next shot, it can't just be anybody. And that was important to me.
Right.
You know, I wasn't expecting like 10, 15 people to, come out the woodwork like, hey, what you doing? What's up with us? Like, no. Like, I thought about it because I'm a man. And smashing everything in sight was like, I could actually do this. But then I started like talking to Jay.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned to me, he was like, man, be careful because spirits are real. Like, everybody you jump into bed with, don't just leave after she gone, but them spirits stay. And so that stayed with me. And I had this conversation with God before. Connie, this goes back to what you were saying about the manifestation.
Right.
Like, I had this conversation with God before I called her, and I was like, God, I need like stability, and I need a solid foundation, and my kids, most importantly, have to be comfortable with who I'm getting ready to date. Like, she didn't know it, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
And because of manifestation and it being so strong, and her taking the time out and the years to get to know who she is, I was in the middle of my journey of doing that. So because of that, and this tight relationship that she had with God, or has with God, I had to, when I'm talking to God, like, okay, this is what I need. The one thing that I heard from myself was, all right, I'm going to give her to you, but you got to be on your shit. Like, I knew, like, every man knows, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Every man knows what woman he can say certain stuff to, or how far he can go. I knew I couldn't go. I knew I couldn't do certain shit with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talking, struggle. Like, I called up some women that I was kind of entertaining. I mean, it's out there, and was like, hey, blah 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 blah, and they was like, word? I'm like, yeah, I'm straight. And that was that. And it took me a minute to get right. But I knew that as quick as he gave her to me, she could be gone, irregardless of our relationship.
Facts.
We've been knowing each other 2012. But when I felt right about that, it was like watching the sun come up and the sun go down. The next day I told her, I was like, yo, I'm really trying to date you. And she ignored me. Like,
Absolutely not.
it's like, what?
Like, absolutely
Hold
not.
on.
It went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Hold up. She ghosted you. Hey,
She hit him with the friend zone.
hey, I never knew this. I'm putting some of Vegas business out here. Vegas ain't never been ghosted.
No, listen, I never ghosted him.
Right.
I never, but what I did was I valued our friendship.
Right.
All right.
That
yeah.
makes sense.
I never,
It was a home run right there. She did.
yeah. I
So it
valued
wasn't
our
a true
friendship.
ghost then.
No, it was ghosting.
How was it
No,
ghosting?
she just left you in the
Like,
friend zone because she valued your friendship.
Right. She heard what I said and she valued the friendship.
Yeah,
But she was watching me. Like,
absolutely, because I love me. And I was like, ain't nobody going to
Disrupt it.
disrupt my peace. You hear
Yep.
me? They're
But I,
going to
I'm
disrupt my because I love me.
she
Finally.
told that. But she told me, as we're in the relationship, well, I'm sorry. I thought it was we started right here. Press play. She came back to me like, that first week was rough. The second and third week was rough. And, it's like she was waiting on me to say, nah, I'm cool. And this went on, the I'm cool went on for probably like, honestly, for like 3 to 6 months of her, oh, you still here? And I was like, look, Blank, I'm here for the long haul. Like, this is it. Like, this is a wrap. We building, and Then she came to visit.
Mm-mm.
It was over.
Yeah, it was over.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say this from a very transparent place, because in my observation, most women when they heal, they do heal. They heal from the inside out. When they say they love themselves, they actually truly do love themselves. But here's the flaw. Here's the flaw. There's always a wall around that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Facts.
you are so
But-
right about that. You think about that. That's not true.
It's
healing.
not.
If there's this wall now, I did have a wall.
But what are you protecting?
But it wasn't. No, it wasn't that kind of wall. It was a wall that God had me put around my heart and my mind, because anybody that has a relationship with God, it says to guard your heart and guard your mind. It doesn't mean to have a wall up so that no one can get in, but to stand
Right.
guard over your mind and over your heart. And that means just simply pay attention to who you let into the gates of your heart and your mind. So that wall, quote unquote, was me guarding my mind and guarding my heart. And that's just like someone standing at the gate to make sure you are qualified to go enter into this door. That's all that was. And I owed myself that.
It was somebody at the gate.
Yeah.
I owed myself
But she got rock wallers in the yard. I mean, I'm just.
And Vegas was steady honking the horn at the gate, and she was like, "No, not today.
You ain't got the codes. I'm
Not
like, bitch, you ain't
today.
got it.
Not today. Not today."
Let's go back to what you were saying about most women not really truly healing because they've got this wall up. So it is a wall of protection that women should have, but it shouldn't be a wall built of concrete. It should be a wall that is more transparent, but also known to the man that there is actually a door, even though it looks like a solid wall, there's a door that you can walk through if you hold the key, and only if you hold the key. Period.
See, I 120% agree with you on that. And the reason why is because it was once explained to me when I was going through my various counselings that I went through, my various marriages that I've been through that had me put through counseling. One of my counselors, actually it wasn't even a marriage counselor, it was my PTSD and anxiety counselor when I was in Washington State. She said, you have gotten in comfortable relationships with women that by you being with them, gave them the piece of them that they actually needed so they can heal.
Oh. What?
But they never used that to heal because you went right back and hurt them when you left.
Mm.
He was like, well, she was like, but the benefit is that because we're coming to what I did. When me and Connie got together, I told her that, I don't think I'm too old to be trying to find wife and all this other stuff. I was like, we mesh, we're good, blah, 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 blah. I went and wrote apology letters to all women I've hurt. And I was like, this ain't me. This is not who I was. I was going through this. You can say it was daddy issues. You can say whatever it is, but I'm owning up to what I did to you. I'm sorry I hurt you. If you're going through insecurities, it's not an insecurity you should go through at all, because if I made you insecure, it's not something that I purposely did to make you insecure. But if you are insecure, be released of that, because in all reality, it wasn't nothing wrong with you. I was just a hoe. And I was being honest. I was like, I'm not that now. No, I'm not in church, but I have a firm belief in myself as a man that in order for you to have a successful relationship, you can't have trash that you done burnt, stepped on, shit on, and everything else, and think that you're going to have a pretty nice relationship going forward. No, you still got some questions you need to answer back here, bro. You can't just, have the front part of your yard dirt, and then as you get closer to the house, you start seeing nice grass and nice, blue Kentucky bluegrass, stuff that you actually want to walk in barefooted. It's like, how do I pull up to your house and your yard got a shag? It's bald at the top and then it's got hair at the bottom. How'd you do that?
I feel you.
You know, so I think like it's not just a women thing because men are different. When a man's been hurt, and I can only speak for me, when a man's been hurt, two things will happen. I don't care who the man is. If a man's been cheated on, he's gonna find out what it feels like, or what does it really mean to cheat on somebody. They're gonna either stretch that boundary or never touch it at all. The second thing that's gonna happen is like for a man, it takes a long time for that man to heal and to trust a woman because all he's ever known is to be a good man. I know how to treat a woman. My mom raised me as this person to respect women, or, you know, I've always been around women, or whatever the case may be, or you just have a healing moment within yourself. But men are more calculated. And the reason why I say it's calculated is because it's not because of benefit, it's because of exhaustion. It's they get tired. You get tired of not just being alone, but you get tired of telling this one this and telling that one that, but that's the one you really like, and you only like this one because she only do what the other person's not doing, and I can't settle for this one because, you know, she got too much I ain't got, and I always give it to her because I'm just a nice dude, while this one don't never ask me for nothing because she already got it. So it's like you got the best of both worlds, but you really are confused with just yourself. That's what men do when they cheat. Women cheat emotionally. Men cheat for dumb shit.
True.
It's like, you know, I'm tired of arguing with you. Oh, you are? So I'm going to go to the bar. You can go to the bar and you're going to act single for those 4 hours you at the bar. That's a man's freedom. I'm going to be single for 4 hours. Because guess what? As soon as I leave this club, damn it, I'm married. Ain't this a bitch? It's like, that's a man's mentality. A woman's mentality is a totally emotional thing. It's like she's going to the spot to be the focus of attention because that is what a woman needs in a balance. I want you to feel sorry for me, but I don't want you in my business. I want the attention because he ain't giving it to me, and just leave me alone. Just let me grave in the attention, but don't come over here with the, how you doing, pretty girl? Your man's treating you dirty. You want to come to the island? I'll treat you right. No, you don't want that nigga. No. You ain't gonna never have a wife. And you're gonna come back. She's gonna be singing Bob Marley.
We just had this conversation, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I was telling her how, I was like, damn, man, I think I've been cheated on like every relationship I ever had. And we do cheat different. You know, and it does go by the wayside when it's a guy,
right?
9 times out of 10. And I mean that like for real, like wholeheartedly. Like, how often is it discussed that about the man's feelings? We're
That's
supposed to kind of like but straight up get over ours and keep it moving. But then we go to the next woman, and the guy that just left her, we're repairing it.
Oh my god!
And then we're going to the next. It's a whole cycle.
But you can repair it. That's the whole thing.
It's a whole cycle, and then like I realized that about myself, in prior relationships, and that's another reason why getting with the next woman, which is Blink, I was just like, you know what, I got to do some things different. Like, I never had a woman that, and I have to really use this word lightly outside of my kid's mom, really, really listen to my feelings and have hard conversations. I can't honestly say that in my previous relationships I had completely honest conversations. You know, about my flaws or things that I dislike about myself, or, you know, places I've been that I'm not happy about, or my thoughts, or, you know, just different things like that. Like, that's a lot of weight on a guy.
You feel the asshole brewing in my face? Because you already know I'm about to ask you this. So have you ever been, per se, called out in a conversation about the type of person you was in a relationship? Or was it ever brought up?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And when it was brought up, you denied it per se, but at the same time, it was never to the point where you felt like you needed to change.
Correct. It was always the woman. 100.
Yeah. So
I didn't acknowledge it.
yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, if a man can acknowledge it, that's when a man is going to change it. But if a woman acknowledges it, when the man knows that's one of his traits, he immediately is dissing himself from her because he
doesn't want to be called on his bullshit.
well, that, and he doesn't, that's true.
I'm
but
just saying.
For a man, and this is something innately in our spirit, men are going to hate me for this because they're going to be like, I ain't like that, so I don't know where you get this from. Okay, then you're just one of the weird ones. Men's natural trait, a man's natural trait is just like a lion. I'm going to let everybody know this is mine, and I'm going to fight for mine. It didn't matter what she looked like. Didn't matter. This is mine.
True.
Man's mentality is, if this is mine, I'm peeing all around here. All around here. I'm peeing. Doesn't matter.
Yes,
Doesn't matter if he respects her, lives with her, has kids by her. It doesn't matter. All men do this.
Mm-hmm.
But when a man decides he wants more than just that one, he's going to do the same thing with that one, and then the next one. So every woman that he gets cheated on has got a little bit of pee on him from that man. Figuratively speaking, not saying virtually, because if y'all into that, then that's a conversation y'all not gonna have with me, because my name ain't Dr. Him. Ain't Dr. Roof either. So, hi, I'm Dr. Roof. No, bitch, go to sleep. I just find it weird that in this day and age in relationships, people are not having these conversations. And when they do have these conversations on a podcast, you got 10,000 people that any given market that may listen to that podcast, but that's 10,000 people out of how many billions that's in the United States?
Right.
Not to mention, let's say you're a black podcaster and you having relationship talk conversations. Why aren't those people more successful? I'll tell you why. Because they're only talking about it on the surface. They're only talking about it from their perspective, not as a collective.
Yeah.
Like young men, 16, 17, in their late 30s should be listening to a podcast just like we're having right now.
Right.
Listening to how affectionately you could be with somebody and show them how to love you instead of just saying, I want this person to love me. What the hell are they loving?
And that's the truth. Like, you literally, and it's not like I was like, well, I'm going to show you, Vegas, how to love me.
Right.
No, it's all in how I carry myself. It's all in how I communicate with myself. And being very transparent and honest about what I like and what I don't like. People don't know how to not, and I hate to say people like generalization. It's not that. I just mean, I'll say it like this. A lot of people don't know how to communicate. And a lot of people in that communication being given don't know how to openly receive it without being offended. Because don't get it twisted. Not everything he says to me and not everything I say to him is something that's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you told me this truth. No. But you have to have an open mind to be able to receive.
Right.
No, the open mind is knowing this person, this man, has my best interest at heart. Period. He has no ill intentions for me. Everything he wants from me is for my best
Right.
good. You can listen with that type of open mind and open heart. He can tell me a hard truth and I'm able to receive it without being offended and being like, well, why would you say it to me like that? Or why would you say? That's how silly arguments get started.
Right.
People aren't able to receive the truth. And a lot of times, most times, the truth hurts. If a person is telling you the truth and they love you, that means they love you. And they're telling you the truth to make you better because they want you to become a better version of who you are. So him telling me the truth may not feel good. I know the videos look great, and they are, and that's really truly who we are. All the videos you see of Blink and V is real life. It's right then and there. It's not planned. It's not nothing. It just happens. That really is who we are. But we also have hard conversations. You know, I mean, that's life. We have real conversations, and I think what makes us successful is just being able to openly communicate and being able to openly like listen to one another and not take offense it, because somebody says something that you don't feel like they should have said it to you that way. Who cares? Like, let a person say what they need to say as long as it's not in a disrespectful way, intentionally. Let them say what they need to say to you
Yeah.
in the best way they can. You
we
know?
like we don't always agree on stuff, but when we have our conversations, it's it's okay to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Like we real big on it's okay to disagree. We don't go to I know that sounds weird, but we don't go to bed mad, at all. Like that's a
Yeah.
big thing.
It's pointless.
One thing that she's big on is if we're talking about something that she doesn't understand, she's gonna ask you 15 times. Like, babe, I don't understand. And she'll just say it like that. But it's not what she's saying. Is for me, it's how she's saying it. So I receive it, and it's just like I'll just I'll just say it in a way that she gets it, and she doesn't take offense to it or anything like that, like she was saying, which is great because I come from that world of a woman being upset or walking off or she's crying. I'm like, damn, what I do? Like I was just saying how I felt. Those women that say, well, just tell me the truth. Just tell me how you really feel or whatever. I've run across so many women like that, and you don't want to know the truth. Because if you really wanted to know the truth, then we would be together and not me and Blink. You know what I'm saying? But don't ever, and that's my advice to some women. If you really are not in a position with yourself,
That
don't
part.
ask the man for the hard truth.
Yeah.
Because when he tell it to you,
Then you're gonna get mad.
you
ain't
either
ready.
going to receive it
That
or you're gonna be mad at yourself and then mad at the person.
which is silly. Like what I asked you earlier. Hey, do I look fat? Here's the question a lot of women ask they mean, do I look fat in this? He was like, oh, that's a question that it's not safe for us to. What did you say?
To answer, that's right. Guys ain't supposed to answer
At all.
That's what he said. Guys ain't supposed to answer that question.
But
Here's our conversation. I said, and I understood why he said that. But what I said to him was, no, I really want the truth. The reason I want the truth from you is because, not so I can be like, I can't believe you said I look fat. It's because if you tell me the truth, that to you, because I care about how he feels and how he views me, and I want to look good for him. But if he says, yeah, babe, you looking kind of chunkier there, whatever, but I want him to tell me the truth because what that's going to do for me, and only a mature woman can I'm sorry, accept that truth. What that's going to do for me, and this is what I told him. If you tell me the truth, and it happens to be, yeah, you look kind of, you look kind of chunky there or whatever. For me, it means, oh, not like, oh, he don't love me no more, he don't care no more. What that does for me is it kicks me into gear is, oh, I need to do better, basically. I need to lose these few pounds because not just for him, but because, first of all, for me to even be asking him, do I look fat, means that I'm not feeling too great about myself. That's the first. That's the first.
I'm
thing.
glad you said it because I was coming in hot.
That's the first thing. Quit. Women need to quit acting like, oh, do I look fat? If you asking that question, you aren't feeling good about yourself. Come on, sis, face it. let's be honest with ourselves. You're asking your man, do I look fat? Because you want him to make you feel better about how you're really feeling, in all honesty, about how you're viewing yourself. I'm real honest about myself. The reason I asked him,
Super
I
honest.
do I look fat, is because it was more about how am I looking today while we out in public. And if I need to change this shirt so I don't look so fat right now, then I'll change it. And then I'm gonna work on this weight loss.
But I'll tell her, you know what I'm saying?
There's the truth. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm
Then
sorry.
f-
We lost.
she done threw me on the ground.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties.
You good. You good. I
Yeah, we good.
She said, hold on, let me throw everything out the window because that question just disturbed my peace.
right. I'm
I'm so okay with people need to accept the truth. The truth is free. The truth does not feel good sometimes, but man, it will set you free. And if you're willing to accept the truth, you are willing to be free. I want to be free.
I'm
I want to say
go
this
ahead, brother.
real quick. On that question that you asked us about what does it feel like to be in two different states. So here's my real short
I forgot
example.
you didn't answer that. That's my bad. That's my bad. I'm a shitty host.
That question, you all the way here, like y'all 500 plus miles away from each other. We are, but it really feels like she's at home. You know, it feels like we're together all the time. Like we stay in sync. I know when she's gonna call, not because we have a routine, but it's just we're so well connected. And I think when people look at us, that's what they feel. They feel
Yeah.
love. Dude, you know where I come from. You know what I'm about. I've never been in this space before where strangers look at us and be like, "Hey, let me take y'all's picture."
They do.
A lot of pictures that y'all see, we didn't take them. It's because somebody has been like, "Y'all look good together. Let me take your picture." You know, or whatever. A lot of the things that you all see that are on, you know, whatever social media platform, those moments are candid.
Yeah.
We don't plan anything. We don't be like, hey, let's do that. We don't do any of that. Like, they are all moments that she's on video or some snapshots that we took, and they're just put together, you know, just different things like that. But this is my first relationship of long distance. Yet, and I say this with every fiber of me, yet it feels the closest relationship that I've ever had in my entire
Right.
life. And I would think that that's weird, but I'll chop it up as God is most definitely in the mix of what's going on between
Right.
us.
That's a big fact.
That's part, you know, like, you know, once you get there, it's past y'all.
Right.
I wake up like this with her on my mind and vice versa, and I asked God for her, but I feel like he was like, well, he didn't ask for this, he didn't ask for this, he didn't ask for this. I'm gonna give him a grab bag of this other stuff, and that's what it feels like. It feels like all the things that I thought that I wanted, I said, you know, when it came to a woman, but I was given like 6,000 more things that I had no idea.
Because you never experienced it.
Exactly, I never experienced it. So it really is a whole experience for me for a relationship. You know, like, she used to think that I was just infatuated in the beginning of this union, and I had to keep explaining to her, I can't explain how I feel about you. Like, I searched for, you know, last couple of years just trying to figure out what's the right word to describe how I feel about her. I don't have a word. It's literally just been authentic, a beautiful ride, a hellified experience. it's everything that a woman will, that women, and Connie can probably vouch for me. It's everything that women will get together and talk about when they're talking about guys. I want that. It's that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I'm grateful, I'm thankful. We still have quite the ways, to go.
Right.
Um, this business venture, dude, you and I know. But when things are right, God will open up doors for you, and all you got to do is
Right.
ask. We've had some amazing blessings. I'm talking about amazing. We won't even have to talk about them, but they have been, I've been blessed beyond words. The two of us,
Right.
we see each other, either she's in Texas or I'm in Kansas City, and we literally see each other like maybe every
Once a
2 months or once a month.
Yeah, month and a half.
Yeah, somewhere
It's
around
either
there.
every month or every 6 weeks. 2 months is like, oh my God, we kind of pushing it, but
Right.
yeah, regularly.
Yeah,
And I never even traveled this much.
we travel a lot.
I got all kinds of points, frequent flyer miles. I done get like some of them trips because we travel so much are free.
Right.
That's just like for
Mm-hmm.
real.
Man, you know how hard it is to get 3 free days with Enterprise?
That's a lot of driving. I know. Trust me.
Man, yeah, but it's been an amazing ride, man, and I wouldn't change anything about it. I think I'm I'm most thankful that it's at this age for me, not for her, because
Yeah, for
women
me
most
too.
definitely, in my opinion, women most definitely grow up a whole lot quicker than
I
men.
agree.
No, perfect for me at this age because I think at this age you become aware of how fleeting life can be,
Mm,
and you it's very easy to appreciate and be grateful for the person that God has blessed you with. So we don't argue. I know that may seem hard to believe, but
ain't nobody got time
Me
for
and
that.
Connie really don't argue either.
yeah, like we're too grown for
Yeah.
that. We can literally have a discussion about something we don't agree on. It don't have to become no big blow
Right.
up. There's too high of a level of respect between the two of us and of gratitude of having one another. You know what I mean? Like
Th-
no day is promised. So it's a high level of respect and gratitude and appreciation and love. And that right there, that's why I say this age is the best age for me.
This is surprising. I would have never said that
Yeah.
because growing up as a guy is like, let me conquer as much coochie as possible.
In that
But
order.
that's the truth. In that order, that's how we raise.
That's the
you know what I'm
reality.
saying?
Yep.
Yes. And then when you get, I always used to say, because of my experiences, I've been able to say that most men, don't know who they are until they meet the right woman who shows them who he is. And once he runs into that woman, that's when he start acting right.
But excuse me. I think I agree with you on that. I think that a lot of times too, um, men get tired of chasing and conquering and all that gets old. And I was looking at the comments from back and forth, and Jabron had said something. He was like, Vegas knows me prior to marriage, and I didn't cheat because I stayed detached and had no emotional ties. He said I was an
Yeah.
honest hoe, basically, and
Damn.
Oh,
but
Man,
Jay
that and see that resonated with me so much because to take it back a step, something you were saying when you was talking about telling the truth reminded me of it was a disagreement I had with an ex. And it goes back to the conversation you had with Vegas saying, do I look fat in this? Well, my wife at the time was a little heavier, a lot heavier. somewhat heavier. She ate a couple more hamburgers than I did. Okay, whatever. I ain't judging you. But I ain't judging you. But she asked me, she was putting on this outfit and we were going somewhere. Do I look fat in this? I think I look fat in this. I was like, your insecurity is not going to be pushed off on me for me to tell you something that you already are going to get mad at if I tell you the truth. I accept you for who you are. So don't ask me a question about if this looks fat on you. Girl, you know you carrying some extra pounds. Wear something that you comfortable in. She looked at me and she was like, ain't no man ever talked to me like before. I was like, don't tell me we're going to be late for whatever it is that we're going to because all of a sudden I didn't, hit that spot for you. No. Right. I'm like, I need to eat. No, but really, I told her, I was like, no, I want you to listen to what I said. I was like, because the reality is if you don't feel comfortable in wearing something, it doesn't matter what I think. I can think that you look you the hottest thing to slice bread, but you're going to have those doubts in yourself because you're insecure about how you look. Get to a place where you're comfortable with how you look. And you will never ask your man if you look good in this. You already know you look good in that. And you would just flaunt it around in front of him because you know what that type of shit does for him. Mm-hmm. So I don't tell Connie enough. She knows she looks good. She can put some tight pants on. She knows exactly which ones I like. And she'll throw her top on because for whatever reason, God decided that he was going to use the enlarging device when he developed her chest and said, nope, we can't do that one. We're going to do both of them. So they both big as hell. So I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Stop wearing my t-shirts. I got permanent gaps on the front of my shirt. Some of my t-shirts, they stick out like that. I'm like, how does my shirt automatically have its own tuck-in feature where I look stupid as hell when I go out? My shirt be half tucked in. I'm like, I don't work out. I'm just saying that whole conversation. Do I look fat in this? It's stupid. It's straight out stupid. So I always kind of, and to bring it back, and I always have, I don't know. I'll have to do a tell-all podcast that you guys will have to listen to so you can hear about my relationships. I've never steered away from controversy or diversity. If it's pink is wet, I'm in it. That was my thought back then, not now. So somebody pray for me. Anyway, so I originally was gonna talk about the business, but we've been on for an hour and I want to be respectful of the man visiting and the woman, being the entertainer of the visitor. But I guess that's not even a true statement because y'all in a relationship. So any damn way, y'all know what I'm trying to say. If y'all haven't ordered y'all cookies from Miss Chanel, you need to
Bake the
world a better place. And for those listening in podcast land, you need to look her up. What we just said, bake the world a better place. You need to go in there, DM the girl. She will respond to you. She will give you her prices and she will tell you when would you like them to be shipped out.
Right.
Get your order in because I did mine last night and we got into a whole conversation afterwards because she's baking them right now. She's in the comments. I appreciate you, Angela. She said, I'm baking them right now.
Angela.
Yeah, she's in the comments. She's in the chat. You can go to the chat where you in the live.
That's her handle on Instagram.
Real quick about Blue Orange.
Yes,
property.
Please.
Okay, so as you know, we were building something else back in.
Yeah. We was playing with Legos. Now we're playing with bigger Legos.
It has migrated to something else, which is Blue Orange Properties. And I remember when I first said the name to her, she was like, she was like, I don't understand it.
I don't get it. What does it mean?
But it has grown so rapidly, so quickly, and like our relationship, it has it has a very great foundation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what, that's what I'm really really appreciative of. Like, we are. My visit isn't all just about us. I mean, it's always us, but it's also about Blue Orange. Um, of course, we want to make sure that we are making Blue Orange as big as we can possibly make it. We're still in the growing stages, but a lot of things that have been set up and built and just, and different things like that has been all because of Blink. And I'm really, really thankful to be able to build this with her, and as well as Jay, bring your stuff on. Tara, Angela, like and then my two boys, like I'm really, really excited about the journey that we're on about that, because all we see is millions. We're gonna get there regardless. I can't be stopped, and I can't do none of that without y'all. So I know where we came from, and we doing everything that we can to make sure that our kids can eat.
Oh yeah.
People, but this is something that we're really, really working hard at.
It's
To
not
make it
easy.
happen. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
lot of
And
work.
we right there, y'all. We right there. So to those that are on the team and that are listening, we had two investors, y'all, which is great because y'all know where we came from, and it's gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep passing the information along to you guys. And on the cool, like, thanks for hanging in there. I know it's been a long road,
Right.
a long road, but I needed somebody who I could not only pillow talk with about the business,
Pause.
but man, you know, but most definitely know how to, know what to do. Like, I've learned so much from her. She's been the root of, all right, we need to do this. So I can, like, Vegas has its own language, but she understands,
I speak Vegas.
she speak Vegas like she says all the
Okay.
time. So she gets.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this on a recorded line on a video that's going to be in podcast land. What is her name? I'm not talking about her real name, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm Delvin ThinkPad, so
Oh, that's it. I haven't. It's Blink for right now. She is officially the only one that has one name. Dexter has three, and then the rest of the group has two. But Blink came from, like, everybody has their own story, but real quick. Blink came from, she would say stuff to me, and I would think about it, like, it would go over my head. And then I would come back to it like, oh, damn. So, can miss it in a blink, but that's where it came from, and it's stuck. Like, it's a lot of people that don't know her real name, but that's kind of hilarious to me, but.
I didn't know until I got the friend request, but it wasn't even just that. When you started posting her, I was like, where do I know this name from? I know this name. I'll be 50 this year. I ain't gonna try to figure it out no more.
I can't.
I know that name though. Whatever. I blame the military drugs.
Oh, real name.
Yeah, you're right. She do have a real name, but we are just gonna have to call you Blink. You're just gonna be that I.
I'm good with that.
And I think it fits. You really are the eye of the business. And for those that don't know in podcast land what we're talking about, there's a business that is Blue to Orange that Vegas and Blink created, which exactly what he said is kind of evolved from an inner business that was created, a couple years before that. And
Yeah.
the vision and everything that we went through, the growing pains and everything, is the breath of fresh air that Blink brings to the table. Because what we went through when we first was trying to do exactly what you guys are doing, it's not even just a full conversation that'll make you mad. It's just everything that led up to everything not happening would make you mad. because it wasn't us not doing anything. It was everybody else around us not doing anything.
Man.
And they weren't even part of the team. It was just people that we were trying to really, I guess you can say, get the pulse and kind of have a vision or idea of how things work so that we can effectively say, okay, this is how much we need. This is what we need to go forward. No, you know how people are. People be peopling. So it was very, I put it like this, exhausting. And even now, when I created my business in December, and it's been aggravating. It's been stressful, but it's starting to kind of subside. It's starting to come down. So and for me, it's more just a startup capital, because if I have a idea of, my target audience and how much I need for startup capital, then I can do a mass order, of those. I can't do a mass order right now because I'm trying to get that capital that is going to be like, okay, let me do this.
Right.
Get it out there. So my website is available, but anyway, anywho. So
hey, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to say this little part real quick. And this goes for guys and women, but most definitely for women. Coming from a guy, if you have gone through like multiple relationships and you can't seem to find that one person, to connect with, my best advice that I could give you is stop looking.
Always.
Stop looking. Like, men we want healthy relationships. If somebody told you different, then they wasn't for you.
Facts.
Stop seeking us out. Stop seeking men out. We ain't going nowhere. We here. The moment that you stop seeking men out and just do you, and I know that it may get boring, lonely, but it's just like Sherry said earlier, like if you take that time out to get to know yourself, and I know that can become exhausting and a lot of heartache and just different things like that, but
man, the prize is so worth it. It's so worth it.
Right, most definitely. Just pause. Like, give yourself, all the credit. And once you do that, he'll be right there. Like, we looking for the same thing that they looking for. We want that woman to put her up on a pedestal and build with, and, and all those things. But once you stop looking, everything that you thought about is going to be like right there in your face. And it will manifest itself, and you'll end up with something that you never thought that you could have.
Right.
Lastly, with that, like the part, like 1A and then 1B. The part B is, and I see women do this all the time, like, don't, it's almost disheartening to see what women allow a man to do. If you allow him to do this or do that or whatever, you have literally just groomed men 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 to treat you the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? The moment you like, yo, I'm not putting up with that. Like, don't talk to me like that. Like, I remember when I met her, I said something to her and she was just like, no, don't talk to me like that. Like, I appreciated that, because not that she was trying to check me, but she taught me how to treat her, and then where the gratitude comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard the word gratitude before. I didn't know I had to do it, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm weak.
Start becoming appreciative as a guy, like, oh, okay. Well, let me try this, because man, we'll try stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What we did with woman number 6, best believe woman number 7 got the same treatment.
Right.
But woman 8 might be different, and she's like, no, I'm not putting up with that. And cut you off, and you're like, wait a minute, I was just joking. That's who we are attracted to.
We don't want.
Don't let me burn up your time.
No, you good. I think it comes to a point where man doesn't want to be in a relationship he knows he can manipulate somebody in.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because eventually he gonna get bored, and then he gonna just treat her like crap because he's done manipulating her. It ain't no fun now because you didn't stop me from doing what I'm doing. So I need to move on.
Right.
You're right.
Yep.
So I ain't gonna keep y'all no longer, man. I wish I could, but it's the late hour, and I want y'all to enjoy y'all evening, enjoy each other's company. So I'll bid you guys adieu, as they say some damn where. I don't know where I heard that from. I'm probably watching too many damn Lifetime movies.
Shut your mouth. He over there cracking damn jokes on my ass. Nah, we not having all that, sir.
That's a slam on her and my mom. They be up there watching. They didn't watch every Lifetime. They didn't watch the Christmas movies already. That's gonna come out. That's gonna come out on Christmas on Lifetime and Hallmark. They watch them right around this time.
Vegas,
I'm
get
not
your
lying.
friend.
I am not lying. When y'all come to Virginia and watch, they're gonna be sitting right here on the loft. My mom gonna be crocheting in the chair, watching Lifetime, or Steve Harvey, or Family Feud, or what's
Stop
that?
telling our business?
What's that
sir.
other show y'all watch? 21 Questions or whatever. Anyway,
25 words or less.
25 Words or Less. That's what it is. Yeah, Jay Leno got a game show. Why?
No, I can't stand him.
Why,
Sorry,
bruh?
I can't.
It's
I
the
can't
dumbest.
do
It's the dumbest shit ever. Anyway, y'all have anything? I know Vegas has his departing remarks. You got anything you want to pass on to us? Oh, I just lost video, y'all. Oh, there you go. Y'all must have had a phone call. So, what? You want to leave us with any words, Miss Blink?
No. Sorry. I say what I think and feel.
Mm-hmm.
That if you want to have like this, the love of your life, some and then there's women that are literally become like hard-hearted. I don't need no man. I'm cool. Nah, nah. Like I posted a video and this woman came at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And some of us are out here okay without a man, and I was like, "Okay, this ain't for you. This ain't for you." Okay, you want to be hard-hearted and mad and mean and angry and single? Go for it. I'm talking to those women that literally desire to be in a healthy relationship, actually desire to be in a relationship, period. So I think a lot of, women, there's a lot of good women, there's a lot of good men, and I tell women this because there's a lot of women that are hurt, and that's what I try to get men to understand. And there's a lot of men that are hurt and angry and talking about getting their passports, going overseas. Well, bye, boo. Go on and go overseas and get your woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to the men that still got some sense about themselves, that still is like hopeful. But what I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to say is that there is hope on both ends, and what it takes is the mindset of understanding that not all men are terrible men, not all women are terrible men, and there are hurt people on both sides of the coin that need to heal. And once people understand that they need to heal individually and accept and admit that and begin to do that work, then and only then can we begin to have these healthy relationships. Not that they don't exist, but we as a collective people can do a lot better. We can do a lot better. We really can.
I'm gonna have to bring y'all back. I'm gonna have to bring y'all back.
Yeah, I think we need to have a second run on this one. I just want to say thank you all very much for coming on and doing this, especially, through the technicalities we had earlier and y'all just sharing just being very authentic and real with everything that y'all have been through and where you are today.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all manifested each other without even knowing it.
I did not know. I was,
Just trying to run.
okay. I was trying
See, something you need to realize, me and Vegas are from the same caveman tribe. We see a woman we want, she getting clubbed in the head. Um,
We need to wrap up, but I
Yeah,
remember. I
we
want to say this. I remember having a conversation with not only just Jabrin,
Mhm.
but same conversation with you too. And I think Paul, um, you knew. I was telling you about Blink before you knew about her, and said was like, "Man, fuck everybody, do that shit." Like, period. And that was for me. That was like I got mad love and respect for y'all because that was the fuel that was more fuel to the fire that I needed to just walk a straight path and know that I'm deserving. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that I've been through. Like I want to say that to men and women.
Yeah.
Know that you are deserving of whatever it is that you're seeking out, and age don't have nothing to do with it. I hate hearing that from women,
Man.
or the amount of kids you got, or what you not doing. Man, God is amazing.
Facts.
Like that's all.
You said a mouthful right there, bro.
Yep.
And excuse me, I remember that conversation, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I told him that. I mean, call a spade a spade.
Straight up.
You as a man, your life is not dictated by how other people feel about who you with.
Mm.
The problem is when we get to this healing journey in our life, and this is me going out, so I'm gonna go out and then I'm gonna end the podcast because that's just what I'm feeling right now. Yeah, exactly. And Jabrin is in the comments, and Angie in the comments too. And Jabrin said, "I told him not to mess her around, or I was gonna beat his ass." And that sounds like Jabrin. Just throwing that out there. So I had to say it. I mean,
Vegas like, damn, I'm in the hot seat.
but I generally told Vegas that because the way I'm gonna put it to you like this: when Vegas can tell you about his personal life, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And the reason why you got to pay attention is because Vegas is never that vulnerable. I don't care who you are. He may be vulnerable to the people he's closest to, and that's it.
Mm.
Most men are like that. If you don't have an outlet to be vulnerable, most of those men keep that shit in until it gets to the point where they're digging holes in their backyard and they ain't digging holes in your ass. So if you see a man in his backyard with a shovel digging holes, you need to have a sit down with him and find out what his problem is, because he holding something in. I think as a generation, people getting ready to go in their 50s are already in their 50s, or approaching that age, or getting ready to in about 10 years. We come to a point in our life where we decide we want to be in a relationship, or I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. And the sad part is that you shouldn't give yourself that ultimatum. It takes people years to grow through the things that they've been through. It takes years. Some people years. It takes some people months. But I'm not gonna ever judge somebody that was hurt in a relationship and they single and they've been single for 10 years. I know all I gotta do is say something to them and they're gonna be right out of that. And it ain't because they want to be with me in some intimate type of way. And I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna wrap the podcast up, and that's what it is. So I'm also go ahead and play my music before I even say what I'm about to say. But this has been my idea for years. You cannot expect somebody to really accept you if you ain't accepted all the bullshit you've been carrying around all these years, and you keep blaming all the new people that's around you for all those bad things. You can't keep piling on every person that you are attracted to, and you know what their result is, because you already know what the result is. You keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. That's insanity. You know what the results are going to be. You just keep doing it. So when you cop out and say, I'm just going to be single because it ain't no good men or women out there, that's a cop out, because you don't want to heal. Anytime I hear somebody say that, you don't want to heal.
I'm gonna do the work.
That part. And if you don't want to take the time to heal, ain't nobody want to take the time to get to know you because they're going to know that's a roadblock for you. And the sad part is you can pray for them. You can acknowledge all the pain they've been through. You can say, you know what? I'm not that dude. It don't matter. You are a dude. And guess what? You may not be the dude that hurt her, but you are a dude. And until she heals, I mean, and this goes for men. I mean, this goes for men too, because men have been hurt and I've been hurt. I've been lied to. I end up being a transformer and turned into a ho-ho. Don't do that, people. Don't do that. I'm 49 years old and just bought my house 3 years ago. I could have been had like 5 or 6 houses. I was just laying up in everybody else's instead of the one I should have bought. Don't do that.
Well,
Don't do that. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I always try to leave y'all with something inspirational, and I ain't got it right now. I inspire to just be me. I'm Cedric D. Sanders, not E-A-R-Y-D. Not damn it, Dwayne. I'm married to Connie, and she ain't a man. So I'm not judging anybody that's in that lane.
Yes.
But I'm happy where I'm at. And I'm happy you guys are happy where you at. Y'all gonna have to come back so we can have a campfire conversation, because I would really love to have you guys on a panel and have a good, deep conversation. Not just about relationships, just to be a part of a conversation. I'll shoot it to y'all. I'll let y'all know. It's developing. I already got 3 of the people agreed upon it. So I just can't use this one because it didn't work the way I wanted to this time. So I'm gonna have to, I guess, apply for an EBT card and see if they give me Zoom. Some shit. This is crazy.
We have fun, man. I appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt. And to the audience, Jabern, Angela, and whoever else is in there, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all to life. Yes, Jabern, I'm learning from you too, brother. You still motivate me, and we still had these conversations. And Angela, you can burn like 10 cookies and I ain't gonna even be mad at you. They still gonna get ate up. Because I'm about to do what I always do on a Saturday evening. I'm about to go on my side porch and throw some jazz on, but my cell phone still works. So if y'all want to give a brother a call, y'all know my digits. Y'all hit a brother up. I ain't drunk yet. With that being said, y'all, I love y'all to life, man. Peace out.
Man, love.
No doubt. No doubt. Peace.
Peace out, you guys.
Bye.